In this episode of Zaprojektuj swoje życie or Design Your Life podcast, we're talking to Jeroen van der Toolen, and we're talking quite a lot about changing Warsaw and Polish skyline in the last 20 years. And what Jeroen talks a lot is about finding passion in what he does. And think about it when listening to this podcast. Where is your passion and how do you find it in the things you do? And do let us in the comments. Where is your passion and what would you like to do with it? Cześć, witajcie w kolejnym odcinku Zaprojektuj swoje życie. Dzisiejszy odcinek będzie po angielsku, także jeżeli słuchacie go jako podcastu na Spotify, Apple Podcast czy gdziekolwiek indziej, a chcielibyście mieć napisy, zapraszamy na nasz kanał na YouTubie. Tam będą napisy z instrukcją, jak je włączyć. A dzisiejszym gościem jest Jeroen van der Toolen. Jeroen, welcome to Design Your Life podcast. Thank you very much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
This was amazing that you said yes and you so quickly made time for this. I'm impressed. You are responsible for the skyline of Warsaw quite tremendously. So we'll talk about it in a moment. But do you remember when we met first time?
Maybe not the first time, but maybe it was the first time. But the first time I remember very well is that we were sitting next to each other in the plane.
Yeah, that's the same thing I remember.
On the way to Malta.
Yes.
And you introduced me to say I just joined YPO, but in the plane you fully introduced me actually to everybody into YPO. So, thanks for that, of course.
Thank you very much. So how did your life design worked out so far? How did you do that?
My life design.
This is a life design podcast, yeah.
Oh, good. So the thing is that I would say that first of all, I'm Dutch, so I'm from Holland.
And you live in Poland,
and I live over here now for 21 years. So I studied in Amsterdam, economy. After that, I thought, I want to work 3-4 years in Holland and then I would like to go abroad. And I wanted to go to Asia. So at the end of studies, I was able to do a traineeship for Unilever in Moscow. And I did a country proposal report for Rabobank for Ukraine. So instead of going to Asia, it was like stopping actually in Ukraine and in Russia. So then after that, I finished studies, started working in Holland. And, they asked me to go to Poland.
Because you were in Ukraine and Poland. Yeah.
Because I was in Ukraine and I was in Moscow. So they said, okay, so you know something about Eastern Europe. So 10 months after I started working.
What year was that?
I think, this is now 21 years
Beginning
ago.
of 90s, yeah?
So I think it was, 98, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So October 98, I came here, I think. So I thought this is the same as Moscow, which was absolutely not the case when I arrived. And
what was different for you as a young, just out of college Dutch person landing in Warsaw?
I would say that it was not positive.
Oh.
Because, living in Amsterdam, a very vibrant city, close to the beach as well. And I came here, and the city was really grey.
Mm-hmm. I moved back to Poland in '98. I remember that city too.
Yeah, so it was really grey. All the cars were or Maluch or FSR. There was no outdoor life. There were almost no terraces from the restaurants outside. There was one terrace on Nowy Świat. So we were sitting there with the Dutch guys because we called it the tribune, like from Wimbledon, because all the nice ladies were passing by from the university. So we were sitting like that. So, and there were, it was, I missed the enthusiasm, energy of the city when I arrived in the city.
And Moscow had that?
Moscow had that.
Okay.
That time.
That was just before the crisis, when you were there.
It was just before the crisis I went there. And that city was, of course, where you see when you come with 24 years old, that time to Moscow. Then Moscow and my friend went for a traineeship to Washington that time. So I was in Moscow and he was in Washington. So, you are in
You were comparing notes?
But you were in this city where you heard about, of course, Moscow. And in Holland, there was not so much about Warsaw, or about Poland in the news, but of course also Russia and United States, yes. So, and then you see the Kremlin, and then you are in the Kremlin at events with Unilever that time. So that was impressive, yes. Going to Michael Jackson, he's singing "Stranger in Moscow" was like very impressive there, yes. So, this impressiveness was not the same when I arrived in Warsaw.
So you moved in '98. We know why with the job. So why did you stay?
Because I would say, you have to get into Warsaw at that time, yes? And I would say Warsaw nightlife was great.
You just needed to learn where it is, yes?
But, and actually it was not so difficult to find it.
Okay.
Because there were like 3-4 places, very, very popular. So it doesn't matter when you went there, it was always good, yes? Today there are so many places that you don't know where to go because you don't know where it's good. Yes, so
limited size of Warsaw had advantages.
A limited size of Warsaw had advantages. Everybody who was visiting me said nightlife of Warsaw was better than in Amsterdam. so this part was good, and I was young, so we went partying on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it was working very hard and partying very
Even
hard.
Harder, yes.
This was the first, 3 years of Warsaw. I worked for DTZ.
Oh, DTZ.
And DTZ was at that time one of the largest real estate consultancy companies.
Okay.
Like today you have CB Richard Ellis, Cushman & Wakefield, Jones Lang LaSalle, and others. And DTZ was bought by private equity together with Cushman & Wakefield. They were integrated together. Today it's Cushman & Wakefield. And then after 3 years, I had, say, really best friends. One was working for Heineken, the other one for Campina, the other one for Shell. And
all in Poland, yeah?
All here. Yeah, I met them all here. In the first 2-3 months when I was here, I met them all here, all Dutch guys. And then they all left.
Okay.
They all left after 3 years.
So the contracts run out, yeah?
Yeah, contracts run out, back to Holland or somewhere else. So I had a feeling that, I stayed behind, yes?
It's time for you to go.
It's time for me to go as well, because, they make a step, I should make a step. So I asked to DTZ, I want to move, yeah? So then they offered me to go to Milan or to Madrid. But my largest client, which was Ghelamco, the owner of Ghelamco said, you should stay. So...
why did he say that?
Because then he said, because I was leasing all his buildings.
Okay.
So he thought, when I lose this guy, then it's maybe not commercially okay. So then he said, join Ghelamco. So I said to him, okay, we agreed on the conditions, and I joined Ghelamco as the managing director of Ghelamco. So after, say, 4 years in Warsaw.
The job, you got it with the client?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
How was the negotiation on that?
The thing is that first I didn't know it was a good move, because I thought...
You were 27, you were kind of playing along, yeah?
No, I was then 29 when I went
29.
to Ghelamco. So, and I thought, okay, maybe I should go to another country, or is it the right time today to go to development, or should I do more like investments as well in DTZ? And so I had a meeting with presses of Heineken, presses of Unilever, presses of Philips, presses of Akzo Nobel. I had 7 meetings with Dutch guys, older guys, who were at that time for me older guys, 45, 55, which I'm in
which is us now.
Age group now, yes. And I asked them all, what would you do when you would be me, yes? And all except one said, the chance that you'll meet an owner of a company who you know already for 4 years, who is offering you to become the MD of his company
before 30
in Poland, just do it, because you are a really good real estate agent. And okay, I was deputy MD in DTZ, and they said, with the business card, if you are an accountant, if you are a real estate agent, if you are a lawyer, you can go to every company back when you're good anyway. So it's not a problem to get your old job back. So just give it a try and go for development if you anyway want to go to development. And I did.
But this was a chance. This wasn't like something that you designed or anything, yeah?
Yeah, this was a chance, yes. Okay. And the negotiations with the owner of the company were,
Quick?
I don't know, 15 minutes.
Seriously?
Yes.
So the job you're holding now, the negotiations for the job took 15 minutes?
Yes.
Was it a good negotiation looking back?
Maybe not for me a good negotiation because it was done.
That's what I'm asking.
Because it was done in 15 minutes.
That's what I'm asking. Should you have negotiated better
but
contract?
looking today, maybe not for the first year, but today I'm happy and satisfied.
Okay. So this was a good move.
Yes.
And that's what made you stay in Poland.
Yes. And development is slow business and local business. Yes, you can.
So you shouldn't change markets, yeah?
But the thing is that you don't see many companies which are global developers or European developers.
Why?
Yes, because I think a lot of it is market knowledge, yes, acquisitions of the sites, knowing the entire market of commercialization.
You need to know where the plots are and how they're going to develop, yeah?
Yeah, so the thing is that, and it is very capital intensive, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see a lot of, I would say, developers who are in like 15, 20 countries.
Because they don't have enough capital and knowledge.
Yes, so... And
but Ghelamco is not only in Poland, yeah? It's
a Belgian company.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're very active in Belgium. We do a bit in France. We are building in Moscow.
Uh-huh.
We were building in Ukraine, but we closed this. Now we are starting in London.
Okay.
And we are starting in Luxembourg.
Well, coming back to you and real estate or construction business, development business in Poland, what kind of business is it now versus when you started 20 years ago? Is it much different?
Yes, it's. I would say the principle maybe is the same, but the scale and the complexity is totally different.
Because the scale went up?
Yes.
Or competitors or what?
No, the thing is that when you look at, say, 20 years ago, the buildings were much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
The buildings were much simpler from technical point of view, and also all the procedures were much easier than the procedures are today. So
you mean the bureaucracy behind getting the permits and so
on?
Correct.
So and I remember very well when we developed a lot of buildings in Mokotów. Yes, so a lot of I would say repetitions of similar type of buildings. And when you know the trick, let's call it, you can optimize this. But at a certain moment, Mokotów became a kind of like let's call it factory production. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, but then when you went to build Warsaw Spire, and to build.
But it's a totally different building.
Yes, and to build then the tower of 200 meters plus. At that moment, say the highest tower of Central Europe and also in Belgium and in Holland, there are not that tall towers. It's a totally different thing. So we had to bring in the knowledge of doing such a project very good from the first day. Yes, so and that was very challenging process.
And do you find the specialists here in Poland, or you had to import them, or how does it work?
No, we brought first somebody from Holland.
Okay,
but I have to say, we did it actually with the whole team, the Polish team.
Okay.
Yes. So, but we took specialists, say designers from outside of Poland, dealing with the structure, dealing with the facade, dealing with HVAC. So, we had local team and international team to make sure that two teams were checking each other. Let's call it like that. Yes. So
how do you said it's a slow business and capital intensive. How do you find plots or the sites for the buildings? Because that's part of this business. Yeah, you have to think several years ahead where you're going to be building. Yeah.
Yes, because when you look at Warsaw Spire, we bought this plot. What is it? What was it? 12 years ago? For 13 years ago. Yes.
Why? But it takes that long to get permits, or it takes that long to make a decision to build, or what?
It takes that long, I would say, to take permits, and then was a construction time.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus we were waiting as well a little bit with this project for metro, because
it changes the value.
Yes, we thought, okay, the metro will come on the Rondo Roszynskiego. So, and we thought, okay, everybody said, Wola. Wola was not positive. Yes?
Because there was no metro.
Yes, but in the beginning we did a couple of buildings, let's call it on the other side of Rondo Roszynskiego, 3 buildings. There were some other smaller buildings. This Rzeczpospolita building, we built on Prosta as well. But this was not really a prime location. And we thought, but this is the location in Warsaw when the construction and the development of the city really will take off. This is the location, because there is no other location where you can construct a lot of resi, a lot of offices, mixed use, some entertainment, some leisure.
Resi is residential, yes?
It's residential,
I'm
yes.
explaining this to our listeners who might not know the slang, yeah?
Yeah, so we said, okay, this will be the new center of gravity, because I think because this whole Warsaw doesn't have a real center, business center.
Mordor is not it, yeah?
No, but Warsaw is not, say, central business district. It's like outside city center location. This is, say, the biggest, business location. It became Mordor because there was no investment in the infrastructure. There was no cooperation as well between city and developers to build this infrastructure as well. So, but I would say in the meantime, when the residential market went up, all these plots were bought by residential developers, because residential developers can offer more for a plot than office developer in Mokotów. Because to build residential is cheaper than offices.
Okay.
And when you look at the total, say, feasibility study, the residential developers could then offer more because to still have their profit margin.
Okay.
So, which was a good thing for Mokotów, because now you can see that there is thousands of apartments and there is offices. Under the apartments is a lot of retail. So
it balances
out. There are finally hotels came in. So now this district became much nicer in the days and in the evenings for, total mixed use development. Yes.
It's not like a desert of US cities in an office district.
Correct. So. But to come back to the city center, the thing is that Warsaw never had central business district. People said that Ronde ONZ, when there was only Warsaw Financial Center at that time, and you had Skanska, who did the developments on Jana Pawła, all these atrium developments, which I think is nothing special, yes, these buildings, didn't bring like a kind of boulevard to the city center, a place where people will spend time and everything.
Okay.
So it's like, the buildings are there, but, nobody cares that they are there, let's call it, yes.
But do you think Towarowa will become that?
Today already you can see, and this will fully further develop. When you see with Warsaw Spire, we put a lot of attention to Plac Europejski. And in Plac Europejski, there is a lot of events being organized. There's thousands of people coming every year to all these events. Some events were like only one event with 3,000 people coming, yes. So a lot of people say, okay, our building is close to Plac Europejski, yes. So
because it increases the value when there's a place which is popular amongst city dwellers.
Yes, we said we want to have a square where people come and spend time.
Okay.
Yes, and in Warsaw, the city built these fountains along the boulevard. Yes, along the river. Now they did nicely the river, but for a long time it was not there. So there were no places in Warsaw that people stayed on a square. So
after work I can go and have a chat with a friend on a bench, yeah? Or watch a movie as you show him.
For example, but when you also have, for example, people coming in the morning with children, they're coming with like beach bags. They put them on
the Plac Europejski?
Yes, because it's sandy. So they put the beach bags there. And kids are running through the fountains for hours, and then they go home again. So you see a lot of babchas or mothers coming with little children. But that wasn't your
intention, I think.
There was the intention.
It was?
And we also put the attention that all disabled people can come. So we won prize for best disabled public space. We won best public space created in Warsaw, voted by the people from Warsaw and everything. But okay, this is this place. Today, Browary. They will they are making nice public area now around. You will have Norblin, which is places where you can spend the time as
Electric works in Powiśle.
Yes, which is not in Wola, but the Powiśle. So there is like more and more places coming, yes.
That will create this...
Which create this lifestyle and this feeling of,
so in
places
effect,
you can spend
in effect,
time.
this development will rejuvenate the district, yes?
Yes.
Which was forgotten somewhat.
Correct, and now you will have, offices, let's call it
so
first
how
line.
Did you know how to pick the plots there? Because you kind of had this vision that this is what's going to happen to Wola?
Yes, because we bought, where today we are building the hub. We bought this first plot already 17 years ago.
So before even Warsaw Spire plot?
Yes.
Okay.
But we bought part of this plot before. And then we started collecting the other plots. And the plot where the unit is constructed today, we also bought something like 17 years ago. And then it took us a couple of years to buy the other pieces of the plot. So this took maybe 6-7 years to buy all the plots.
So your business is about buying the plot and then figuring out what to do on it and then developing and selling, yes?
We normally hope that, that before we buy, we know what we will do with the plot.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's a more healthier situation.
So what's your favorite building?
Of course, Warsaw Spire.
Okay.
Because this is...
In the world?
Yes, because this is my baby.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a huge baby.
It's a big baby. And this was, for our company, for me professionally, a step from there to there, yes?
But
so,
they say that this building sets the bikes on fire, yes?
Okay, we had 2 bikes on the, fire.
Because it has this wonderful metal awning that turns out it reflects the light, yeah?
Yes, so when this happened, we put the sticker on it. So now it is not...
It's stopping.
Okay, it stopped,
okay,
yes.
Okay. How will Warsaw Skyline look in 10 years? 10, 15, like future-wise?
That depends on the Warsaw City Authority.
Okay. And that's what you talk about, this bureaucracy. And
No. This is about this bureaucracy is one thing, but this is about what is the vision of the authorities today. Yes, how the skyline
there was this
will look
vision
like.
of building, buildings around Palace of Culture, so it's disappearing and so on. Not much of it is realized. Yeah.
No, because the plots around the Palace of Culture are very problematic because there is a lot of restitution and ownership issues there. Plus, you have like plots and discussions between, city and PKP who owns this land along Jeroen. There is of course this huge issue with this plot between the Intercontinental Hotel and the Palace of Culture, where all the thing happened with. So, I personally think that. The whole area around the Palace of Culture should be, a combination of, for example, what they did in Amsterdam. They have their museum square, yes. So you have the Stedelijk Museum, you have the Rijksmuseum, you have the Van Gogh Museum, you have Banksy Museum, and next to it you have a lot of greenery for a lot of events. Yes, so I think as well around the Palace of Culture, when they now built, say on one side already a museum, they should build other museums there and put not on the back side of Sven Francisca Street because it's in the shadow, yes, but on the other side towards Jeroen, they should put a very nice park with a big field in the middle. Yeah,
where people can actually spend time.
Where people can spend time.
Coming back to Warsaw Skyline, how do you think it's going to develop?
Now, what I hope is that because when you drive into Warsaw from the airport and you bring foreigners into the city, you can come via Ujazdowski and have the beautiful old, say, entrance into the city.
Yes.
And when you bring people in from the airport and you want to show modern Poland, you can come over Zwierki and then drive over to Towarowa and have all high skyscrapers along at one big line.
It's true, you can actually have 2 different views of Warsaw depending how you drive.
Yeah. And then you have the, high skyscrapers all on the Towarowa Street, and behind it will be all residential and mixed use and everything. And I think, this street already has now the big buildings, and they should make this beautiful lane of high buildings.
So Towarowa will be like Gangnam in Seoul, huge buildings that move and glow and so on.
I don't say that it should move and glow.
Okay,
because
Spire glows.
Correct. But what we put on the Spire is we put a big screen, and the screen was made for communication with the city. So we didn't put any advertising on the building to earn any money with this. We said to be able to organize all the time events like having the ice skating ring, outdoor cinemas and everything like that on the Plac Europejski. Who will finance this? How to make squares alive?
So that's why you have the signage.
So that's why we have the signage, and we have, for example, then on the signage, whatever you Hyundai or Mastercard, whatever, invite you to this, and they sponsor for all the cost of the event. So I think this is a good combination. And it also says, Poland wins with Germany for football. Congratulations, Poland, and a big flag.
So who came up with Kocham Warszawa slogan? Because that's when Spire was being built. You had this there.
Yes, because the thing is that actually we were, I saw in Amsterdam, I am Amsterdam, yes, which is the slogan of Amsterdam. And it's standing on the Schiphol airport and in Amsterdam on many locations.
You see it in many places.
Yes, and people make the pictures with that, and it became a kind of, one of the, characteristics for tourists, yes. So, and then we were in Berlin with our company event, and you see, I love Berlin, yes. And then we thought, okay, maybe we should put I love Warsaw, but Polish people like it in Polish language, we believe. So we were in Berlin with the company event, and there you saw I love Berlin. But, the people of the office said, don't put anything in English in Poland because the people will not like it.
Okay.
And because we were thinking, Rondo 1, which is the tower on Rondo ONZ, was constructed 10 years before we started with Warsaw Spire. And the thing is that we were afraid because, maybe it's not nice to say, but, they said, okay, let's say it in a positive way. We had to make sure that the people in Warsaw will embrace this tower and not say, oh, they make Dubai from our city. Okay. Yes. So, and that they don't like it. Yes.
So that's why the slogan?
So that's why we said, how do we make the people of Warsaw proud of this project? Okay. Yes. So, and then we put on the big neon, Kocham Warszawa, and we invited the journalist for, first illumination of Kocham Warszawa, and we got in all the, and then it was just before the football, 2012. So we had
the building was being built then, yeah?
Yes, and it was standing in a structure, and it had this Kocham Warszawa on it. And then we had BBC, Japanese TV, and many TV channels. They took the shot, and the presenter was standing in the heart of this Kocham Warszawa, yes? So, and the thing is that we got in total more than 100,000 likes on social media on this Kocham Warszawa. And then this facade was going up, so people asked, what will you do with this neon? Yes. So actually we offered it to the city, maybe they want to put it on the airport or one of the bridges or whatsoever, but they didn't want. So then we thought, okay, fine, let's put LED screen on it, so that we can put back Kocham Warszawa. And, for 80% of the time you saw Kocham Warszawa, and 20% of the time we used for, something else.
So what's your biggest challenge right now in development business in Poland?
The biggest challenge at the moment is permitting.
Okay, so it's the beginning of
yes.
Past the plot, yeah?
Yes, and buying the good plots.
But that's probably always, yeah?
No, in the beginning, there were so many plots for sale.
Because Poland was unrecognized, yeah?
Yes, and buying the plots was not a problem. But then leasing up the buildings was the biggest problem. Yeah.
And right now it's, I wouldn't say extremely easy, but it's relatively easier to sell the buildings, yes?
To sell the buildings.
Or to lease the buildings, you say. So
yes.
There's enough companies who want it.
Yes, so sometimes it's difficult to lease the buildings. Sometimes it's difficult to sell the buildings. And now leasing is always a problem, let's call it. But there is enough demand, and there is a lot of companies still coming to Poland. And
but is the demand coming from new companies or companies moving from Mordor, for example, to Towarowa?
It's when I look at, say, the whole Warsaw Spire, the hub, and also generally the market in this area of around Rondo Daszyńskiego, approximately 45% of the buildings we are leasing to new companies.
Wow, still.
Yes, but maybe these are not new companies, but these are, for example, companies who decide to move a division from abroad, so they suddenly take 5 or 10,000 square meters extra.
Also, they had 20 or 30 employees, now they're going to have 500, yeah?
Or maybe they have already, for example,
sales office.
An office in look at Citibank, for example, in the past. Citibank, City International. City International is, they had like, say, 10,000 square meters in Electrum Tower, yes.
How many employees is 10,000 square meters, for those who don't know?
1,000 people, say.
Okay.
Say times 10, approximately,
Okay.
yes. So, and then some time ago, we signed another, say, 13,500, so 1,350 people, 1,350 people. They put by us in T-Mobile Office Park on Marinaska.
Okay.
So from zero, they take this big space, yeah.
But it's a corporate decision to move the department to the country, yeah?
Yes, or to decide to, fire people somewhere else and hire them over here. Yes,
For now, we like it because they come here, yes?
Yes, and the thing is, when in Krakow, we rented last year one building to State Street, which is a bank. I never heard about them before, to be honest. And
Seriously?
but they're a very big institution, and they have today in Poland over 3,000 people. Yes.
Okay.
So, and when you talk to these type of organizations, and I'm asking them what happens when the crisis is coming, will you move to India? Or you stay in Poland? But some of these organizations, they want their European hub
in Poland.
And they say when we are in Europe, then for them Poland is a very good location, because
it's a question of price or quality of people or mix.
It is for sure, it's mixed, because one thing, of course, it's price driven, that Warsaw of Poland, or Poland in general, is cheaper than to go to London or to go to Paris. But also that there is a very good availability of good people. Yes.
And good real estate after that, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the first decision is that there is a good availability of people. I think Poland has the highest number of people leaving universities, and Poland has also the highest number of people leaving the universities doing, say, technical studies, yes, or programming and everything. So a lot of these financial institutions, they have people dealing with programming, yes, because today, like things like cybersecurity and everything goes on online. So in our building, we have like Goldman Sachs, yes, and when you talk to Goldman Sachs or State Street or BNP Security Services, which came from London, they say that, back office in the past was like the simple jobs. They call it the back office.
And now become more complicated.
But today they say, what is the front office? Yeah, because front office is internet now. Yeah, so and internet means a lot of programming, yes. So because this becomes the edge now, that everything goes very safe and everything like that. So this so-called back office today is like the core and the key of the organization as well.
Yes.
And this is there is a good availability in Poland, yes.
Okay.
So so you see, the whole market is growing.
I wanted to ask you a question. You mentioned it a little bit. How did the buildings, building needs evolve over the time, and how will they evolve with the changing technology and changing customer needs? Because the buildings you're building change once they're bigger, but they also technologically and space-wise change tremendously, yeah?
So I think, the last 5 years, there is more changes than the 15 years before or the 20 years before.
But that's not just Poland, that's global, that's Poland.
I would say this is, I don't know if this is global.
But you know it's in Poland.
But for sure it's here. And it's more here than even in Holland or in France or in Germany.
Why is that?
And this, I would say that the market here is going very fast.
Okay.
The organizations which you have here are big international organizations who are coming here, yes. And these very large international organizations, like whatever from the US, they have a lot of requirements.
Okay.
So and they.
But is it safety requirements or environmental requirements or light? What is it? What is it changing?
Both. So the thing is that when I see the investments they are making about the security of the building, and this is not just security of just the people. Yes, it's security of data, security of the business continuity. Yeah, but that's one thing. But also these organizations, they today have like internal programs of becoming carbon zero. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and they are starting to analyze now the buildings.
If they are environmentally friendly.
If they are environmentally friendly, because this is calculating for their internal points.
Okay.
Because there is maybe not yet taxes officially on that, but there is like internal kind of taxes on the different parts of the organization. So now they start calculating everything. Yes, when they take a plane, they have to pay taxes for this internally.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so we have our.
They becoming conscious environmentally.
Yes. So we have this situation that today there is a lot dealing with sustainability, and property technology is something else, but especially the sustainability of the building, that we do now additional investments. We already were the first one introducing these BREEAM certifications. You have BREEAM and LEED, which are the green certifications for buildings. Yes, so we were the first one who introduced it, and we have everything like on excellent level, and the outstanding level is the highest level.
That's on the savings of energy and circulation of air.
Will
the building start generating energy soon? That you're going to put the glass that generates energy or something, or not?
It will come, and this is why in the last 5 years a lot has happened, and a lot has been technology. The simple thing is to go from single to double to triple glass. Everything is triple glass now. Yes,
the buildings are triple glass.
All of that,
because they hold better the temperature, summer and winter.
Yeah. So the thing is that, but now you see a big investment in air conditioning systems. Yes, So to have less energy consumption in the building. Now, but when in the buildings which we have done today, and all the other buildings which are done today, when an organization is asking, can you show us on the dashboard how do we consume the energy in the building, which parts, what can we do to save energy in the building? You cannot.
It's not about cost. It's about being environmentally conscious.
Yes, the cost, of course, is a big plus, but it's today not a selling point.
Okay.
But they just the big organizations start now, to have this consciousness and dealing with their internal procedures. Yes. So according to their internal procedures, they need to show how much energy they consume. Mm-hmm. So now we are putting new models in the new buildings. So everywhere in the buildings will be sensors. Yeah. And the sensors are like the eyes and ears of the building, so that we can show the tenants how is their energy consumption, and what can they do to change their energy consumption, and how their energy consumption looks like in comparison, say, to other tenants in the building. Yes,
that's important,
so
because
that we can benchmark it. Yes,
yeah.
So and by this, even awareness. They can already be done the energy savings, and the building we did before and the building we did now now, there's already 25% less energy consumption in the building. Yes, so and there is a new regulation which was signed in Paris or whatever some time ago, that all the buildings need to be in 2050 carbon zero. Mm-hmm. Yes, so there is a lot of today investments by different companies like facade companies, glass companies, that the glass will start producing the energy, but today a lot of it is in development. Yes, so you will
take how long? 5, 10, 15 years, in your opinion?
I don't know, but I can assume that it will go faster than we expect, because the business worldwide is loads of business. So the one who comes up with the glass which can generate the energy, will be very rich. So there's a lot of people dealing with this at the moment.
And the building will create its own energy.
Yes.
Okay. Jeroen, we talked a lot about Warsaw, but how are the cities developing in Poland? And you said Ghelamco is international company, but it's also pan-Poland. You're building buildings in other cities, yeah?
Yes. We were the first developer active in Wrocław, but we didn't start another project. Now we start another project in Wrocław.
You're building Krakow?
We are building in Krakow. We are building in Krakow. We did a project in Krakow. We did a project in Katowice. We are starting now the new project in Katowice. We did a project in Łódź. We built mBank headquarters there as well. And we have now a very big project in Łódź, which is called Nowe Centrum Łódź, Nowe Soho it's called now. And I would say that these cities are doing very well in Poland. and when we were talking about getting the permits and everything like that, Warsaw is a bit more political city, but I would say when you look in Łódź, for example, they're welcoming developers. The same as when you go to Katowice, for example, yes. So permitting is done in very fast time frame, and there is also a very good cooperation between the city and the developers to attract companies. Yes. So
you mean zoning and so on?
No, a good example is a long time ago. When Mr. Uszok was the mayor of Katowice still, yes, we went there and we had the meeting. He didn't speak that time English. The people responsible for the marketing of the city didn't speak any English, yes, and we said that it takes a lot of time to get the permits, and we would like to build, yes. And then he asked, so he invited us for the big meeting with all the directors, and we said
with translators, yeah.
With translators, and then we said, look, PwC would like to come to Katowice. They will open their facility, but there is no building. Yes, so they are thinking about Katowice or other cities. Yes, do you want PwC to come to your city? This is 250 jobs from day one, and then they will grow. Yes. So
and these
I
good
said,
paying
but
jobs, yeah?
Yeah, good paid jobs. But I said, we need a permit. We need to be able to build. Yes. So unbelievable. He said to the whole group of people, said, guys, everything within the right time frame. Yes, but make sure that we get all the permits in place on time, because they promised to build this building. Yes. And, all departments were working very good, very efficiently. We got the permit, we built the building, and PwC moved in, yes.
And it probably employs much more than 250 people now.
Yes, and then they were growing. But then came the other tenant, which was Grupa Żywiec, yes. And then we had discussions with his, with the people from the city, and including him. And we had discussions about city marketing. Yes, this is long time ago. Yes, and
to actually show Katowice as an interesting city. Yeah.
Yes, to show Katowice as an interesting city, and how to sell the city. Yes, and I have to say he changed the people. Yes, he did a fantastic job in making good department for city marketing. Yes, who could really, and we also explained, what they need to do, to bring to attract, say, Grupa Żywiec to Katowice, because they were thinking the time between Katowice or Łódź. Yes, and there was a short list, and we said, please present, please, attract them to your city, and they will come later, hopefully to our building. We are not sure, but at least we had a chance for another tenant. Yes, so and I have to say they did a fantastic job, and they brought a lot of companies to Katowice, and the market went up. And we were able to get Grupa Żywiec, Dutch company. I'm from Holland as well. So the thing is that, we brought them to the building as well, and we leased up the entire project.
I do remember when Dell was going to Łódź, and it had a Wrocław for Łódź as a factory. Dell has a huge factory in which closed down its Irish one. And there was actually Łódź, how they used marketing. They hired McKinsey and so on to figure out how to do it.
They did a fantastic job as well, yes. Yeah. So the mayor does a fantastic job. Also, the guy who was responsible for many years for, attracting all the investors to the city, they do a really, really good job to bring companies.
And how is my hometown, Gdańsk, doing in this pack?
Gdańsk is doing very well as well. Yeah. So there is a lot of business going to Gdańsk moving there. So Gdańsk is a growing city in that. So it's really good, to see that not only Krakow but also other cities, because Katowice and Łódź have much more difficulty.
Because they're not as attractive.
They're not as attractive as a city from itself, yes. So, people prefer to live in the beautiful city of Krakow, for example, than to...
Some people do, some people don't, but yeah.
Yes, but they had like a kind of a competitive advantage with the facilities they had, yes. But now all these cities got scale, yeah. So in all the cities you have the international schools and everything like that. So now they all have the possibility to attract the new investors. I mean the new companies.
So I want to get into development business in Poland. What should I start with? What city? What project? You said commercial real estate, residential real estate is better, yes, or not necessarily?
Depends how much money you have to invest.
So how much money should I have to get into development business in Poland now, in 2020?
No, you don't need to have a lot of money when you start with a couple of apartments, yes.
Okay.
So, but talking, say in general, the thing is that when you look at Poland, for me, Warsaw is the best city to invest because
still.
Yes, because this is the biggest market. There's most companies are located over here. In general, when you look in the majority of all the cities around the world, countries around the world, the capital of the city concentrates, yes. And also Warsaw is a capital city, which has, besides it's the capital, the government is here, and the financial sector is here. Because in some countries, like let's call it Germany, you have Berlin, but the financial center is Frankfurt, yes. Yeah. But here everything is concentrated into Warsaw, yes. So
it's more like Paris or London, yeah.
Yes, and Warsaw has the best flight connections, yeah. So the thing is that even when we talk, for example, to Samsung, who has in the Spire the biggest R&D center out of Asia, they say that for them it's much more easier to have one big R&D center in Warsaw because they can very well work with all the universities in Poland, and it's more easier to get good people to Warsaw than to get from Gdansk to Krakow, to Gdansk to Toolen or something. So you see now that
for them the additional cost is not necessarily an issue because it's the availability of the people, yes?
Yes, and the thing is that, but you see, after Warsaw you have Krakow, then you have Wrocław, then you have, let's call it Katowice, Gdansk.
But should I build a commercial building or residential building as my first project?
It doesn't really matter because still in residential market and in office market, it's both still growing and healthy market. The other very, big growing market, I would say the biggest growth what has happened is in logistics. So it's like a big booming market in
building
Poland
logistic hubs, yeah.
Yes. And
why is that?
Why? I think
is it for Poland or this is logistics for Europe as well? Amazon built it in south of Poland for Germany mostly. Yes?
I think Amazon, I don't want to say incorrect, but I think they built now more than 4 centers already. And
but they don't serve Poland necessarily. They serve other parts of Europe, especially Germany.
Yeah. So these are hubs for Germany mainly. Yes. So yes, you have hubs which are for Poland, which are for Germany, which are serving Eastern Europe as well, like Ukraine, for example. But I think mainly it's internet driven. Yes.
Okay.
So which sector goes down is retail.
So when you're building big buildings, not necessarily much space for retail because it's shrinking. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Retail is, I think,
Note to self: don't build a retail building.
No, yes, the thing is that, Poland has a lot of shopping centers. How many times can you go to Zara? Yes.
I don't fit into Zara, so I don't have a problem with that.
Me too. So the thing is, these concepts has to change.
Okay.
The best ones, of course, will stay always and survive and will be successful. But there's a lot of shopping centers which are really struggling. So when you talk about exits, when you want to say sell your development, when you are in Warsaw, it's easy to sell. When you are in a market like, smaller market in Poland, it's very difficult to sell because these markets are not liquid. Because there's not a lot of demand.
So you can hold on to it and live off the rent, yeah?
Yes, but when you are a developer,
that's not your business model.
You want to develop it, rent it, and sell it. Of course,
you're selling effectively ready project, yet everything is rented, so somebody buys and knows the return on this immediately. But coming back to you, we had a very interesting, we were preparing questions here with the team, and the team had a very interesting question to you. Have you built anything yourself?
Yes.
Like physically?
Physically, with my hands?
Using, bricks, trowel and a shovel and so on?
No.
No. But
no.
you haven't done it. So you're changing a skyline of several cities in Warsaw.
Last time on the beach with my children.
But that's an important thing to build.
Yes, sandcastles.
Yes, and it doesn't matter that they disappear then, yes. It's a process. It's
Correct.
not what you leave behind. It's the process of doing. Okay. You travel a lot, yes?
Yes.
What's your favorite destination?
What's my favorite? I have many favorite destinations.
So what's your favorite destination you would like to go to and you haven't been to maybe?
Okay, what is still on the bucket list where I haven't been is to go to Argentina and Chile.
Okay.
And to go to India and to go to Australia and New Zealand, because these parts I have not been yet.
And the ones that you have been to and you really enjoyed and maybe come back?
So what was what is a pity is that when you are younger, the impressions are bigger when you are somewhere the first time than when you say return, and that you start comparing things. Yes, so
you've seen more things in the world and then they.
Yeah. So the thing is, but what was very impressive for me when I was still backpacking was Okavango Delta. To fly at that moment from Amsterdam to Cape Town in a couple of days.
How old were you then when you backpacked?
I was backpacking from 18 to 35.
You were backpacking till you were 35?
Yes.
So you were head of Ghelamco in Poland and you were backpacking?
Yes.
Wow, I'm impressed.
We stopped when we got children.
So you stopped backpacking because of
kids.
And you're gonna start with
this summer first time.
Where to?
Peru.
Ooh.
So the kids
and they're literally gonna be backpacking trip.
So the children will get a backpack.
Okay. And no rolling bags and so on.
No.
Okay.
So now they are old enough to go backpacking.
But you're gonna be hitchhiking or you're gonna rent a car?
No, we are going to use the public transport.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Why?
No, that's you can afford to go many places and many ways you would like to, and you're doing this because you choose to, yes?
But I think now it's okay combination, yes? The thing is that for me, now we said, okay, let's go backpacking. And only the last, let's call it 5 days, we will go to a nice place on the beach.
And have some rest.
And have a nice place, yes.
Okay, so you don't come back tired.
But when I was backpacking, I didn't go to this nice place at the end, yes. So
how come?
In the beginning there was no budget, yes. We had, without money, we wanted to travel.
So you were not backpacking because of the way you wanted to live, it's just because the budget was like for backpacking, yeah?
Yeah, okay, but anyway, you go backpacking in Africa or in Asia or whatever, so of course you had the money to go to South America or these places, but there you didn't have a lot of budget to spend, yes? And there was even no thought to go to, I had no credit card and we had traveler checks, yes? So, but there was no thought to go to an expensive place. We stayed in the most terrible places you can imagine, yes? So
and Marta traveled with you?
Yes, as well.
Okay. Marta was a guest. There's an episode with her and she talks about her clinic. It's in Polish, so we do invite you. Okay. What gives you most energy or satisfaction in life?
Traveling, for example, is something which traveling to places where I haven't been.
Okay.
Or say new experiences during traveling is giving me a lot of energy. When I go on a holiday and I just see the beach,
that's not the point, yeah.
And or even when you rent a nice villa with a swimming pool, and and there is nothing really around, I get no energy. Yes, when I know that I go only 1 week on the holiday because you go 1 week to Dubai to rest and do some things, then I know that I go just 1 week to Dubai. Fine. But in the, say, holidays that you go like 2-3 weeks holidays, I need to do something new. Yeah, so I need to get inspiration. Yeah, And
this is meeting people, seeing places. What gives you the inspiration?
yeah, meeting local people,
Okay.
hearing different things which are ongoing, seeing things and having contact with other people, yes. The other thing what gives me a lot of energy is going out with some friends, having a unbelievably good laugh and, I would say good, positive drinking session, yes. Don't need to get...
Drinking is necessary?
No, yes, because when you cannot...
That didn't sound very good, and I'm not going to cut it out.
No, you don't have to cut it out because, I can say that I can. I'm not having a big pleasure. I'm sure I will not have a big pleasure when I would start sitting at the table at 8 and leaving the table at 2, without any drinks. For many people, it's different, but I don't mean that you have to get drunk.
I understand,
but. When you are drinking, you start talking differently. You start to people start to become more funny.
Okay, what's the best decision you've made in your life? Can you describe it?
When I would say that I got married to my wife, she will be very happy. But
so that's that.
So, but okay.
So your second best decision
my
in
second
your life?
best decision in my life, I would say that I went to Poland.
Went and stayed, yeah.
I went and stayed to Poland because I don't know what happened, of course, when I did something else. But I would say that I'm very happy and satisfied of and proud as well of what has happened and what what I or we as a team, let's call it, have achieved so far. And
it's kind of like what those 7 general managers told you, that this could be a great opportunity,
yes.
And you seized it and run with it, yeah?
Yes. So, but of course, also, the fantastic thing is that the owner of the company gave me as well the opportunity, yes, to
at 29,
as a young guy, and I still have a lot of contact with him, but he gives a lot of trust, yeah. That you can almost I'm running the company if it would be my company, yes. And the trust he is giving is great because you feel it's your organization. Yes.
Now you said something very important, that you're running the business as it was yours. Because when I met you, it took me probably 3 or 6 months to figure out that you're actually not the owner of the company.
Yeah, really a pity. Yes.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, but
but seriously, like because the way you behaved, I'd seen you as an owner because you always talked and thought about it this way, yeah. So that was quite amazing. So how does your typical day look like?
Nowadays, I drop the kids in the morning by school.
Yeah, Marta told us that she made you do that.
So in the beginning, I didn't do this.
Okay.
So this was a kind of concession that I will go.
Concession.
That I will not go very early to the office. So
okay.
I'm in the office at 8:30. And
that's not very early? You used to go earlier?
I was in the beginning 7:30 in the office.
Okay. So now you drop off kids?
Yes.
8:30 you in the office?
Then I'm in the office. Then I have almost every hour meetings. So
internal, external?
Both.
Okay. Because you still sell, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like to be the manager. I have to, but I don't like to deal with all the HR issues and or administrative issues. Yes, I want to be fully involved in the business itself. So loads of meetings, I would say, and then a couple of times in the week you have dinner, and otherwise I'm going home.
What time?
I'm home at too late according to my wife. I think, let's call it 7:30.
Okay. So you at work 11 hours or between going to work and coming back? 10, 11 hours, yeah?
Something like that, yes.
Okay.
And then I'm doing twice a week sport. And
in the morning or in the evening?
In the morning.
Okay. So
before I go to the
office,
yes.
Okay. What kind of sport?
I'm swimming now.
Okay.
and I'm playing golf when the weather is better. Okay, once a week I have lessons on the simulator.
Okay. So that's not bad. So you do take care of yourself as well during the week, so you'll find some time.
Yes, okay. I have to.
You work a lot of hours, and that creates a lot of tension and so on. Does it give you satisfaction, or it's required by the job?
You know, when it would not give me satisfaction, I would not do it in this way. Yes, so I really, you know, actually the owner of the company told me when I joined, development is like in the morning, somebody is giving you like a kick in the face. You have to step one step backward, and now you have to try to put during the day 2 steps forward again.
Okay.
Yes. So. But I have to say, you know, I like this. I like the job. It gives. It is a difficult process, but then there is a lot of satisfaction.
So you have passion for this job.
Yes, I have passion for the job. Yes.
Okay.
And I would say, what is very nice is that when and this is really what I like, that when you see, say, the buildings in Mokotów, nobody is so much interested in this, which you did, for example, yes? But when you do like Warsaw Spire, and you see how many people are happy, and when you have museum night, and you say to the people they can come up in the building,
terrace,
and there is a queue of 1,500 people.
1,500 people
who came,
to go to the
top. Yes. So and the people, they are saying on this Plac Europejski when we have these events that it's really nice that you do this, and that is really nice. This is giving satisfaction, yes. And when a lot of groups of children are coming to the tower, and we have presentations for them about.
So you have both passion and satisfaction out of working.
Yes, this is nice. And now we do small project as well, but. Most complicated project we ever did, which is on Vauxhall, the renovation.
The renovation, yes.
And this is terrible process, I would say. But
why?
Because
it's a historical building.
It took 10 years of the permits.
Okay.
10 years of the permits, but when you talk to the people who are involved in the project. These are like artists, yes. All these people who are making the murals, who are making not the murals, the frescoes, who are making the stuccateria. When you talk to this lady who is painting the ceiling for the fresco, and you ask her when she thinks it's finished. She says it's finished when it's finished. Yes. So
there was no KPI and no deadline. Yeah.
So it's like you cannot discuss with these people. Yes. And these people who make these beautiful stuccaterias, they're sitting like that, and I said, how many meters you will produce
a day?
A day. Yes, because we need to make the schedule. It takes 4 years this construction.
Okay.
But.
So 10 years for permits, 4 years for construction, but then you're creating something wonderful.
It's the most expensive project we have ever done in the history of our company.
No margin.
Margin is not so much interesting as other projects.
Okay.
But I would say the result, yes, is that a lot of people who go there, people who are very interested in the history of Warsaw, about the beauty of how beautiful was Warsaw before the Second World War. Yes, so. And according to the conservator, I understand that they are so much involved. This building is architecturally the most rich building which survived the Second World War in Warsaw. So the building had the first elevator in Warsaw. Yes. So it's nice to give like the gift of architecture back to the city. Yes. So we changed our mentality mindset about this project.
So Warsaw Spire and Vauxhall kind of changed what Ghelamco does and how it does it in the city in a way, yeah? Because you're not just building the cubic meters, you start influencing trends, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Is there something you could stop doing in your life or in your work that would give you more energy or improve your well-being?
I think it's not only me, but when I talk to some other people about this subject, this question, of course, for me, the ideal situation would be that I can do what I'm doing, but that you have like a couple of hours more free time, or another day of more free time. Yes.
So you finish a couple hours earlier, yeah?
But I am mentally not able to do it. When I would say, I'm 1 week.
So you could, but
I'm 1 week.
You won't.
I'm 1 week a month on holiday, for example. Yes.
You are?
No.
You would like to be?
Imagine, yes.
I just got very jealous.
to do other stuff, yeah. But these are these wishes, which I maybe it's possible, but mentally I am not able to do it anyway. Yes.
Okay.
So,
what kind of superpower do you have?
None.
Come on.
No, no superpower. Well, I have no bloody idea what would be my superpower.
Okay. That's a good question to ask yourself. We'll find an answer.
Yes.
It took me a while. I figured out my superpower is actually asking questions. Yeah. Hence, this whole idea of podcast came out of it. So maybe we could work on your superpower. You'll find 2 hours a day or a month to travel.
Yes. So one day I will discover that maybe.
What are the 3 things you would like to do in 3 years?
I would like to build in Warsaw all the 5 projects which are today scheduled. And this really was change the skyline and the quality of life for the inhabitants in the whole Wola district.
But these are commercial buildings or mix?
These are commercial buildings. Okay. Because the other developers do do residential next to it. And this I would like to see, yes, and this will bring a lot of power to the city and to the country, and because a lot of people who come to Warsaw who have never been in Poland, and still a lot of people have never been in Poland, yes.
That's obvious.
So, and when they see the city, they're like, wow.
It's not 1998 when you came and it was grey and Maluchs were driving, yes?
Everybody's surprised, yes. The only thing is Poland has to bring these people.
Okay.
Poland should, I would say, much more do about PR, to bring the people to Poland.
We currently have totally different PR outside, yeah?
Yes, so that's maybe the case. But the thing is that, when the people come, they are all impressed. Yes.
Okay.
So, and I think that, Krakow is a known city because of the cheap airlines for tourism, yes? So Krakow is more known, like a kind of small Prague. But Warsaw is not really a destination for people when it's not about the business itself.
And it could be.
And I think there is a lot of, possibilities to do this now, yes? And the thing is that when they see, say, modern Poland, and Warsaw has also, as the whole Central Eastern European, is a Central Eastern European hub, but not only Central Eastern European hub, because when they come to Warsaw, and when you look at this Vienna or even Berlin, when you see how modern the city can be, can be a big selling point for the country. Yeah, so this I would like to do.
So that's the first thing, and 2 other things in 3 years.
Then what I want to do, okay, fine. I need to do the bucket list of traveling. So this is another thing.
Those 3 destinations.
Those 3 destinations.
Argentina, India, and
which are all Christmas
because
time destinations. Yeah, so that's why it's all the time, say, postponing in a certain way, and because the children were not old enough to go, I think they had to do really traveling, and other. I just finished 2 things I wanted to finish.
What did you finish?
Finished building the house, so we moved to the new house.
When you're moving in?
We just moved actually last August. So this was a thing what we wanted to do, but we just did. So and
the second thing you finished?
And the other thing what I finished was because before we were living on Mokotowska, and I renovated my Kamienica on
Mhm.
Mokotowska. So and this was a disaster, I would say, from process point of view. But now finally
They're done.
it's
But these
being done.
were real estate projects.
So that's still happening. Finalization in this year. So that's within the next.
So you have 2 real estate projects that you finished. You want to build 5 buildings. You want to travel. Your bucket list. And what's the third thing you would like to do in 3 years?
Honestly, I cannot say very quickly what I want to do for myself.
Seriously?
Yes, I'm a happy person, and
Okay.
So it's not that I have something that I'm really.
So you're not missing. You're in a flow.
Missing something, or that I had the target to do these 2 things I just said. So this was for myself because this is privately and family and for the family. But I don't know. I have something now that I said, okay, this I need to do. For example, yes. So. I just, my parents moved. They were all the time waiting to be able to move to a new place in Holland. So finally, after a long waiting time, we all arranged that. So that's also done now. So something will come up, but I don't know. That's my third point.
But that's
today.
okay. You're happy.
So
I'm impressed. You are a long-time member of YPO. What did it give you? How did it help you to come onto organization like this one?
YPO for me is a very important organization. YPO is an organization where there is a lot of in Poland there are 70 peers, yes, all CEOs of different organizations,
or retired like me.
Or retired like you, yes. So what it gave me here is that within YPO you have a kind of forum discussions, yes. So in the forum you are sharing your business, private and personal issues. And for me, I'm in a group with 9 people, and so for me the other 8 people are a kind of, in Dutch you say klankbord, you can get the feedback and sharing the experiences with similar type of things where you are dealing with, and that in a very confidential way, because you have friends you can discuss with,
and very honest way at the same time.
Yes, in a very honest way, because on one hand maybe they are like friends, but on the other hand they are like objective people towards you, yes. And the whole discussions go very structuredly. So it's different than talking with a friend in the bar about something than having the feedback from people who are in a similar type of situation. So so this is so I don't have to have like a coach or a psycholog where I have to go to every month or something, because I have this moment, this 4 hours a month where you can discuss these things with. Besides that, YPO is organizing a lot of interesting events, events that you normally you just cannot sign in for doing that.
Off the street, yeah.
Off the street. Plus, it has also the international character. So in 2 weeks, we are going to San Diego for the worldwide event, and in total, it's a network of 26,000 CEOs worldwide. Yes, over 100 countries. So. When we had, of course, I'm responsible for Moscow as well. So we had issue in Moscow, yes, and we went actually. We were invited by our bank, Russian bank, and it was difficult, to get to
agree terms.
No, okay, let's say like that. The thing is that we were invited by our bank to the finals of the Champions League in Lisbon that time. We were the only foreigners, because I was there with the owner of the company. We were the only foreigners.
And the rest were Russians.
Everybody was Russian. We were left out of the group, yes. I thought, okay, what are we going to do this weekend? We went there because we thought, okay, we need to be good in contact with our bank, yes. And then I thought, okay, I will go and sit next to the wife of the CEO of the bank, because probably he will come to the same table. Yes.
Okay.
So I was sitting there next to her. Yes, he came to the same table.
It turns out he's in YPO.
And then it turned out he's in YPO. So then everything changed. Everything changed. So he introduced us to everybody, Then I asked, can we meet in...
You stop being a client, you become a friend,
correct,
yeah?
immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So when there was the crisis in Russia, and of course you have, you could have had the issue with the bank because of the, the ratios of the loans. It's no problem, this and this and this, Immediately you are in a group, even in that country, of all CEOs of again, Russian companies. So
which will be your potential clients. Yeah?
Which will be, again, potential clients. And when we were, selling the Warsaw Spire, we did our tour in Asia. We went to, to Seoul, we went to Taiwan and everything. So I looked, where are the members? So I made some appointments with the members of YPO there. Just to learn, just to have a lunch with them or breakfast and understand, how their financial market is thinking, what are the players.
So you were prepared before the meetings, yeah?
Yes, I didn't have meetings with them or their organizations, but they gave a lot of insights how the things were working, which is very valuable when you immediately can talk to a CEO of an organization there.
And you understand.
Yes, and of course this guy knows again also everybody. So it works very, very fast, yes. So.
Okay, so it's important.
Yes, it's an important organization.
Okay. Jeroen, what would you like for the listeners and the viewers of Design Your Life podcast to remember from this conversation?
Most important thing is that you have to do is to find your passion in life and follow your passion. And when you follow your passion and you work very hard, everything will work out very well for yourself.
And you work very hard and you follow your passion.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the conversation.
Thank you.